Okay, kids, this is a comment for Katlin Stinespring, author of the recent DA article entitled, "At least West Virginia got it right." You can read the article if you have no clue what I'm talking about. A couple of points in that article really jumped out at me, whether they were stated directly or not. Katlin, you claim that 1. Open-mindedness is un-American. 2. Not willing to accept something is not closed-minded, at least in part. 3. Barack Obama supporters are like high school teeny boppers. You state that they have, quote, narrowly constructed perspectives, unquote. Technology is, quote, often unnecessary, unquote, and is there to prevent us from working harder. And finally, those who do not live a, quote, traditional American life, unquote, are not proud of their country. Let's just go down the line and work on why you're a little off on those things. First of all, whether you like it or not, you live in the most diverse country in the world, and you should be proud of that. We're diverse in not only our ethnicities, but in our ways of life. No one is more American or more pro-America than anyone else for living in your Leave It to Beaver daydream. For instance, on a Sunday, I wake up at around 11, go eat some lunch, go to my fraternity meeting, rehearse with my a cappella group, eat dinner, go to church, because my services rather untraditionally start at 7, go watch a movie with my friends, and then go home. Now, am I un-American for living that way? I wouldn't like to think so. But evidently your Sunday morning is a little bit different than mine. Now, on your accepting comment, let's go back a few years to when people would be lawfully unaccepting of something. That's right, Katlin. I'm talking about the age of segregation. Black people were denied their rights. They were left at the bottom of the barrel and beaten down for trying to make their way, all because the white folk couldn't accept that their skin color was different than their own. Now, we now look on that generation as, you guessed it, just as you said in your article, closed-minded. The federal government had to intervene to stop it, and that even took an inspirational, eloquently speaking black man for them to do that. So, if you'd like to stay in your hole and be unaccepting, this is your traditional American here in West Virginia, so there's probably plenty of people here who would agree with you. It's your best safe haven outside the former Confederacy. Now, we go on to your claim that Barack Obama's supporters are like, quote, mice chasing after a piece of cheese because it is the cool thing to do, without making considerations outside the frames of their narrowly constructed perspectives, end quote. What narrowly constructed perspectives are you referring to? The Young Democrats and students for Barack Obama's deep research into the issues, to provide issues to potential voters as we sat at the voter registration table, as I sat at the voter registration table? The endorsement of once bitter primary election rivals, the Clinton family? The endorsement of former Secretary of State General Colin Powell, a Republican? The endorsement of white Republican senators Chuck Hagel and Dick Lugar? These are not narrowly constructive perspectives, as you might want to believe and portray them as, so you can get some followers back to your dwindling Republican Party, Katlin. These are the informed opinions of people ranging from your fairy tale cheese-chasing college students to well-known Washington dignitaries from your party. Now, I understand that these intelligent Washington types are not every American. But, as you said, quote, sadly enough, many career voters cast their ballots in the same manner too. So that means you can't even blame the young vote, because compared to your career voters, they were a small percentage in Tuesday's electorate. You also comment on the often unnecessary technology that keeps us from working hard. So, tell me, what did you write your column on? Parchment? Did you use a quill and ink because it would satisfy you as that much harder to do than simply type it out, as I, typed this prompt that I'm reading off of? Let's go back to a great American named Benjamin Franklin. He discovered what is known as electricity. You heard of that, Katlin? Maybe you need to go open a history book, which, by the way, was typed on a computer, and find out how technology has helped our country. Or don't. Stick to typing your columns, chatting with your friends on AIM, having a Facebook, and just being a hypocrite. You fit right in with your party. And the last thing, something I wish had been beaten to death already. You imply, if not flat out say, that if you don't live a traditional American life, you aren't proud of your country. Almost echoing Sarah Palin and sadly re-elected Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann's rhetoric about Americans who are either pro-America or anti-America. Americans are pro-America, Katlin. People in San Francisco are just as pro-America as as the people in bumblefuck traditional America, West by God, Virginia. I'm tired of making this argument because it seems like your party has yet to figure out that you're not the only ones in this country who are patriotic. I'm extremely, me, a liberal Democrat. I am extremely proud of my country. You know why? Because my country just elected a candidate who will bring the change to this country that it needs, who will give a fighting chance to the middle class, who will get us out of a useless war in Iraq, and, most importantly, at least based on your column, shut the mouths of you people who try to degrade the rest of the country from being different than your gold standard of, quote, traditional America. The wave of shit that's spilled out of your mouth does not belong in the Daily Athenaeum. Sure, the First Amendment grants you a right to print it there, but I'm sure columns like you just wrote would get on the front page in the Mountaineer Jeffersonian. And that way you can support your traditional American college newspaper and keep un-American things like open-mindedness and acceptance off the pages. Because after all, how much of that America you're so accustomed and attached to are you willing to sacrifice?